Zerlina Maxwell.
You were drinking. You were drinking. What did you expect? Those were the first words someone told me when I confided in them 8 years ago that I had been sexually assaulted. It was these questions about my choices, as opposed to, say, the choices of my rapist, that were in some ways more painful than the violent act itself. I stumbled into rape culture, a world in which rape is seen as the norm and victims are blamed for their own assaults. You see, there are many myths about rape. It's a myth that there are blurred lines of consent. It's a myth that rapes are committed by strangers jumping out of the bushes. It's also a myth that rape cannot happen to men. What's true is that rape culture is very real. And I know you've all seen this picture before. This picture is supposed to represent love and patriotism and romance. But what you might not know is that these two people are strangers, which makes this picture an assault. Fast forward to last summer when Robin Thicke's Blurred Lines was the #1 song in the country. And feminists and allies spoke out and spoke up and said, no, enough is enough. I refuse to accept this. And he went from #1 on the charts to the #1 creep just a year later. Because when you see a statistic like this one, that only 3% of rapists ever spend a day in jail, I want you to be as horrified as I am. Because this is not just my issue. This is not just a feminist issue. It's everyone's issue. Last year when I went on Fox News and said, I should not have to have an AR-15 in order to not be raped, I was trolled by the right wing and told that my statement was shocking and bizarre. And I'm here to tell you that no, we need to be teaching people about consent and bystander intervention. I should not need a gun on every first date to be safe from sexual assault. The morning after the segment, I was sent this rape threat at 8 a.m. in the morning, and it was one of hundreds of threats. And I am here to tell you that I can't be out here alone. Survivors cannot be the only ones speaking up and speaking out. And that's where you come in, allies, okay? Because rape is not an inevitable occurrence. It is not something that we should trivialize, and it's not boys will be boys. No, I am here to tell you that rape culture is real, and we must end this. So when you see an advertisement like this one, you call it out in public. You don't just turn to your friend and say, hey, that's offensive. You sign a petition. You tweet that petition, and you stand alongside me and say, no. Because this issue is not just an issue for women or for feminists, like I said before, or for people who have survived it. It's everyone's issue. And boys will not be boys. This is ridiculous. And because rape culture is a spectrum, it also includes street harassment. And I know I'm flawless and I woke up like this, but stop telling me to smile. And when you see someone catcalling a woman on the street, I want you to speak up and speak out and go up to the woman like Feminista Jones says and ask them, are you okay? And call out that harasser for their harassing behavior. Don't just ignore it and pretend it's not a problem, because it is. And if someone comes to you and confides in you that they have been sexually assaulted, do not say what a UNC administrator said to my friend Annie Clark. Well, rape is like football. You might want to review your plays and see if you would have made different choices. No, you're going to be more like John Kelly and recognize and stand up and say that rape can happen in any kind of relationship. He's the first person to testify about rape in same-sex relationships. Or you need to be more like Wagwate Winjuki, who's in the room right now. And you need to, who started the hashtag Survivor Privilege, to talk back to George Will, who made this idiotic notion that being raped is somehow a privilege that conveys a coveted status. She stood up and all survivors spoke out using that hashtag to say no. So I'm here to say that you need to make your move now. You need to stand alongside survivors, and you need to be allies in public. I know it is easy to be cynical. I know. But I'm optimistic. Because campaigns like this one from UCLA are shifting the conversation away from what women can do to prevent their rapes and onto, maybe we should change the behaviors of the potential rapists. Because I want to get to the point where the answer to the question that I posed in the title of this presentation, I want the answer to that question, how do we end rape culture, to be, we already did. Thank you.